What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XRP today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. It is the 18th day of October today, and here we are sitting at about $2.36. We got 9 hours and 40 minutes left in this day here. Wonderful day. We're up about 3% right now. Looking good. I like this candle yesterday for a low. I like it. I like it actually. But it just depends on what we do between now and the coming days to really validate that as a low. We'll go through some things in this video talking about what areas to watch as far as validating the idea that this is the low or validating that we might go lower and where those lower targets might be if we are to go lower. So again, if that sounds good to you, hit the like button. Let's get into it. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame and then we'll zoom out from there. I do want to use Coinbase. Just because they have some volume, right? So does Binance, but I use Coinbase because if I click here, I mean, it's the first one, right? No hate to Binance, but it's fourth on the list, and I can't be bothered to scroll down. I want to click and then press enter. $2.36 right now, 1 hour time frame. The RSI at the moment, it's very bullishly postured. I must say it is bullishly postured, more bullish than what we've seen over the past couple of days. But you have had a hard time getting overbought, right? You've had a really easy time getting oversold. So while it's nice that you've broken out of this little box of despair and disappointment, it's nice. Are you doing anything? Are we doing anything productive? And, kind of. Not a whole lot of volume coming in here. Still getting lower highs overall. At the end of the day, I would say it's not really that productive. If anybody's looking at this and saying, well, from a high point here, connecting the dots, we've broken out, I would raise the bar, or I would raise you and say, okay, but every time we go above these trend lines, that's typically where we find resistance. Here, I'll prove it to you. You ready? Right here. So here's a line from this point to that point. Look, we broke out. We're going higher. The best times to sell were actually right above this trend line. Okay, you don't like that? That's fine. Okay, let's do this. From this low, then connecting the dots down here to this low, the best time to buy was actually below the trend line. Right? That was the best time to buy there. If we were using these trend lines here, the best time to buy would have been, again, below this trend line, and you could have caught that little trade there. Inevitably, it did go lower, but all I'm trying to say is that these trend lines, they're not really that helpful. You look at it like this, and you think that you know something. You think that this means the price is going to go to the moon. I wouldn't be surprised if we were actually at a relative high point. We still do have lower highs overall. This is not a break of trend, right? It is a trend line. You did break the trend line, yes, but you still have lower highs. Lower highs and lower lows are what define a downtrend. You are still in that downtrend. Does that make sense? 1 hour time frame, we're at an area to reject, and the fact that you have actually rejected the overbought zone is a point in the favor of the bears. When you reject this area, I mean, look at what happens, right? You rejected it here. What'd you do? You went oversold before you ever made your trek back up here. And what'd you do? You rejected, so you got oversold again, okay? Typically, when you find resistance in this area, you get oversold, typically. Okay, typically does not mean it has to happen. It doesn't mean that's what you're going to do is go down to the oversold zone. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if you were actually at a high point here. And if we're looking at the liquidation levels on Bitcoin over the past 24 hours, just for Bitcoin itself, there are more longs than shorts, which means that people are bullish right now, right? And you have every reason to be bullish. We have absolutely every reason to be bullish. But whenever everybody is bullish at the same time, that creates shaky grounds, right? That actually really does create shaky grounds. You would think it's the opposite, but typically whenever everybody's in consensus, Ethereum here, there's more longs than shorts on the last 24 hours. Bitcoin, there's more longs than shorts. Solana, there's more longs than shorts. XRP, there's more longs than shorts. Everybody's trying to hunt for that low. That's what's happening. Everybody's trying to hunt for that low. And we have to shake out the weak hands. We have to dissuade people and make it so uncertain as to what the price is going to do before we actually move up. And when we do move up, it'll be so fast that by the time most people hit the long button, they'll be we'll be well underway with this move, this recovery. But I do think we're going to come down. That's my expectation, right? We've got a bunch of longs here at the bottoms. Yes, the shorts outweigh the longs overall over the past month, but over the past 24 hours, the longs are outweighing the shorts. I think we're going to beat up the bulls a little bit before we start to move higher. The stochastics, while bullish, they do look very bullish. I must say this is actually a very bullish reading. I'm disappointed with the price action. It's not, all you got is a lower high, right? All you got was a lower high. It's nothing, but it's a higher high than this one, C-Zar. Yeah. And this high was higher than that high. It's not the same thing. This is a lower high. Actually, this high is not even higher than that high technically, but it's still a lower high. Even if it was higher than this high, it doesn't matter. This high was higher than this high or this high. It doesn't matter. It's still a lower high overall. Stochastics looking bullish, but doing nothing bullish with that. That's kind of sad. MACD crossing above the zero. We're getting bearish momentum, bearish divergence, I should say, being built across this. That's sad as well. Lower prices are coming, and that's okay. 4 hour time frame here. again, lower prices are coming, and that is okay, right? Somebody actually asked me in a comment on YouTube recently on like one of my most recent videos. Maybe you're watching this video even. They were saying, "How come you're always saying it's bullish when we're at the lows, dude? The most bullish times to buy are at the lows, right? If you're bullish at the lows and you're bearish at the tops, you're doing it right." You should be bullish at the lows. That's actually the right way to do it. So that's a very important question to ask, right? How come I'm always bullish at the lows? It's a very important question to ask. Yeah. How come, and I'm not just bullish at the lows. We were bullish here. We were bullish here. Yeah. We were bullish at all these various points, right? I'm bullish because we're at this pinnacle moment in the markets where things are about to rally. I'm bullish because the average crypto investor right now is living in fear. We've got some of the highest levels of fear that we've seen in a very long time, both on this fear and greed index and the alternative.me fear and greed index, if you know what I'm talking about. Sentiment is negative. The news is negative on crypto, on Bitcoin, on everything. That's why I am bullish. That's why I'm bullish. And it's actually very, very, very beneficial to be bullish at the lows and to be bearish at the tops. But we weren't necessarily bearish at the top, were we? Um, we did, before this drop happened, we did expect that we drop a little bit. I did not expect anything of this magnitude, not even a fraction of this magnitude to happen. But all in all, definitely bullish on XRP. If the day comes, if the time comes when we do break out of this, I say if, but when the time comes that we do break out of this range, if I'm remembered as somebody who was bullish this whole entire time, good. I'm glad because yes, absolutely, absolutely, I have been. Absolutely, we are bullish this whole damn time. It doesn't matter high, low, whatever. This range is nothing but a bullish phase of consolidation, so we're bullish. We're going to see some spectacular upside in a matter of no time at all. 4-hour time frame. Getting on with our bad selves, enough shenanigans, okay? 4-hour RSI rejecting the same area that it did before, living predominantly below the 50. You did have bullish divergence, which is nice, but you've seen that move already. I think that you're going to come down now. If you're thinking this bullish divergence, you know something that I don't know. Low, higher low, with low, lower low, lower low. You think that that's going to save you? Well, this is the move. This is actually the move that you got. You already saw that move come to play, and now you're ready to go lower. Really, what's happening here is that you have higher highs right here, respectively, higher highs, and you have lower highs in the price. That's hidden bearish divergence. It's actually a bad thing. Same thing here with the stochastics as well. And rejecting here, anytime you reject in the stochastics before you get to the overbought zone, that's actually a very bearish implication there, right? Whenever we do this kind of stuff, it has negative connotations affixed to it, right? Whenever we rejected here, couldn't get overbought, negative. You rejected here, couldn't get overbought, lower low. Here, you're getting rejected, can't get overbought, probably going to get a lower low. You probably do see lower lows. If not, it is possible, I do want to say, before we get too carried away, it is quite possible this is the low. And if it is the low, I did say we outlined some criteria for that. So if this is the low, first and foremost, don't go below $2.21. Okay, that's pretty damn close to $2.19, but that's the criteria. Don't go below 221. I think especially if you hold $2.25, $2.25, I think there's a real case to be built out that that's the low, that this is the low. But if we go below 225, that doesn't mean that we're going lower. It does up the chances a little bit. Ultimately, 221 is that arbiter of truth right there. Whenever we break that, that'll determine if we see lower lows. But as long as you're holding 225, I think the statistical probability that this is the low, I think it remains there. If we break below 225, the probability that we do go below this low goes up, and then it becomes inevitable once we get below 221. So I hope that criteria is outlined properly. If we do go lower, when we do go lower, at this point I'm kind of assuming we do go lower. $2.13 to $2.07 would be the likely target area, and this goes pretty well with the analysis that we did yesterday, kind of lining up that $2.10 area. So that makes sense. We're basically encapsulating that zone perfectly with this here. Could you go lower? Yes. The absolute lowest that I'd give XRP is like $1.90. Yeah, I doubt we get $1.80 maybe, but $1.90 is my absolute lowest expectation. Genuinely, I'm personally, I shouldn't even say expectation. What I could see happening. My lowest expectation is about $2.07. I don't actually think we break below $2, but I do think we take out this low. Um, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong on that note. If I'm wrong, then this is what you have to do. So from a high to a low, just like breaking the golden ratio from this low to high will up the chances that we go below here. Breaking above this golden ratio will up the chances that this is the low, that we do break this high and that we move higher. So get above $2.46. Don't just get above there, but close above there. Get a 4-hour time frame or 2 4-hour time frames in a row to close above $2.46. Especially like a daily time frame would look nice actually. If you move up there, if we move up there and then we move back down. That's rejection. That's not good. No. Just because you move, you could wick all the way up to 255, but if you're closing below 246, it doesn't matter. It's all for naught. It's just a big scam. Bear trap is what it is, or bull trap, I guess. It traps the bulls, and then we'll move lower. Okay, if you want to invalidate the idea that we go below this low, that this is the low, you want to validate that this is the low, get above $2.46, 2 4-hour candles closing in a row. Technically, it's a little bit above 246, but whatever, we'll give it to you. And with this, technically, by the way of this fib, once you get below 229, then it's time to start being sad. That's and not too sad, right? We're not going to go terribly lower. But anyways, looking at the indicators now, the RSI, again, rejecting in this area makes me think that we go lower. Stochastics, if they do, would make me think we go lower. And then the MACD is overall very bearish, actually, right now. You do have a little positive things going on here, but I'm not really wooed by it at all. You're moving up without any volume. I think really this is just a bull trap. It's a lower high in a series of lower highs, right? And again, if you're looking at the 1 hour time frame, you're like, no, this is, look, we got higher highs here. No, just zoom out. Look at the 4 hour time frame. It's very obvious this is a lower high. But we broke out of the trend line. Yeah, who cares? It doesn't matter. Let's show you how much that matters. Ready? Here we go. Right here. High here, going back here. You guys remember this, right? Yeah, nice. You broke out of the trend line. Did that matter? It really didn't matter. That was actually the best time to sell, is what that was. What about this right here? Whenever we went from this high to this high here, we broke out of this trend line. Okay, that actually, to be completely fair, that actually did work out. So again, it's not foolproof. Not every single time whenever you break out of this are you going to move higher, but not every single time whenever you break out of it does that mean you're going to move lower either. But typically you do. Typically, if we take this trend line here from a low, connecting all these lows here, I mean, just look, you broke out of it a little bit more officially right here. Both those times are actually prime areas to buy, not to sell. But I think I've made my point. All I'm trying to say is I don't care that we broke this trend line. I think that we are going to move lower. Looking at the daily time frame here, zooming out a little bit more. Daily time frame, we do have bullish divergence, which is nice. 9 hours 27 minutes left in the day. This is why I opened up the video talking about how it would be nice if the day closed here or higher. I think that actually be a very positive thing. As negative as the 4 hour and the 1 hour are implied, I think that this bullish divergence on the MACD, bullish divergence on the RSI, and even on the stochastics is nice to see. That could promote a little bit of growth, but it's not the most severe divergence, so don't lean on it too much. If we do move up from here, but we get a lower high, and then we have a higher high in the RSI, that's how you know that that's probably a false signal that we are going to move lower. So don't get swayed by that. But again, closing above $2.46 on a daily time frame, I mean, that would be enough to start getting excited. Really, if you want to validate the slow entirely, like if you really want to validate it, what you need to see is price above here. You need to get above this high, above 265. It's a little bit more than what we need to see from the downside to invalidate the low, but that's just kind of how it has to be. Getting above 265 ultimately will validate this as the low, because you're getting above a high point, you're getting above these support zones here, getting back into this range and leaving behind the support area, right? And you are finding support at the moment at prior areas of resistance. It looks nice, but I really wouldn't be surprised if we went down a little bit more, form some more bullish divergence. We got some bullish. I'll tell you what, though, this daily time frame does make me rethink my bearish prospects a little bit that we've laid out in this video. I'm not gonna lie, this does seem nice right here. But let's see if it prevails, or if you do actually end up coming back down by the end of the day. It's very possible that by the end of the day you're red, and if you close this day red or even neutral, I would say that this divergence doesn't really matter, and you're probably just going to do exactly what we've expected out of you. So $2.10, give or take a few cents in either direction. That's the expectation at the moment. And whenever it comes time, and in no time at all, in a very short amount of time, we will be breaking out of the zone as a whole. We will be breaking out of the zone as a whole to the upside. To the upside. That's the expectation. Overall, we're anticipating that XRP will see prices above $13. $13.56 is the target area that we're considering. What about the yellow line? What about it? It's not a target area. In fact, I did an in-depth video a few days ago on XRP. We compared it to the price of Bitcoin. We used logic, we used price points and historical data to confirm that any price target that is projected below $10 for XRP is not even possible. It's laughable at best. It is genuinely laughable. So $13 is the next target above $10. I think $13.56 is our minimum target zone. We probably do see that and beyond by the end of the year, Going into the end of the cycle, we have dramatically higher prices to look forward to. I don't really have anything else that I want to say. I think I've said it all. There's a lot of congruence up here, even at that $20 area, $40 area, to $70 area. This is ultimately where I think we'll be by the end of the cycle, is 43 to 72 bucks, somewhere in that zone there. If we're looking at the weekly indicators, we do have lower lows in the RSI, higher lows in the price. That's bullish, that's hidden bullish divergence. Weakest readings that we've seen since October of last year. And yet we've got the highest lows really that XRP's ever had in its life on a weekly time frame. I'm not counting this as the low. That's a scam wick. It happened when the exchanges were down. It's not real price action. You know, I disagree with anybody who thinks otherwise. And that's okay. We can disagree. It's fine. Stochastics at the 50, perfect area to bounce. MACD kind of at the same area on the oscillators that it bounced last time. I think that we're ready to go. Just, little short-term dynamics at play here. We're at 236. Maybe we drop about 20, 25 cents from here. And then we start to recover when we move up higher soon enough. Going into the end of the month, going into the end of this year, I think we're going to have some very bullish prospects ahead. I've got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.